We all should sit with a copy. You should pause it, try to solve it. Definitely solve the assignment if it's provided. So today we are going to discuss ratio and proportion. Ratio and proportion is very easy topic, frequently asked in KBPY, in the last TIOCOM examination. It wasn't asked in PRMO very frequently, but in the last TIOCOM, 2 questions were asked from this ratio and proportion. So this is a very beautiful topic. Why it is important? Because it is use of every day. In our everyday life, ratio and proportion, everywhere we can see ratio. Lot of places we can see ratio. That's why ratio and proportion is an important topic. It's important to understand it. Now what is ratio? The comparison of two quantities A and B of similar kind represented as A is to B is called ratio. It can also be represented as A by B. This is just for bookish knowledge. This is not required. So this is the definition of ratio and proportion when we are comparing two quantities. Why you use ratio? For comparing two quantities. Now proportion. What is proportion? The equality of two ratio is called proportion. That is, in similarity of triangle we all have seen that the ratios of sides are equal. In similarity of triangle we all have seen that the ratios of side are equal. That is, they are proportional to each other. That is equality of ratio. There is a very interesting thing in proportion, that is A by B equals to C by D, then A into D equals to B into C. That is law of proportion. Product of means equals to product of extreme. What are mean and what are extreme? When we are writing A by B equals to C by D, this A and D are called means, and this C and B are called A and D are called extreme terms. A and D stands for extreme terms, and this B and C stands for this means. So product of means equals to product of extreme. This is the law of proportion. Very important thing that we all know. Now let's start solving problem, because there is nothing to discuss for ratio and proportion. The very important thing in ratio and proportion is componendo dividendo. Often those who are in CBSE, they are unaware of this C and D method, componendo dividendo method. Now why this componendo dividendo method is very useful? What is the reason that this C and D method is very useful? Often in many kinds of calculation, this results as a very useful method. Suppose we are getting x minus 2, x plus 2 equals to 3, and we have been asked to find the value of x. We have been asked to find the value of x. At that time, those who are aware of this componendo dividendo method, they will easily find out the value of x. How? Sorry, this is not the process. This is not the process. I write the reverse thing. Suppose you know the value of x by y equals to, or suppose not x by y, suppose that you are getting x equals to some k, and you have been asked to find out the value of x minus 1, x plus 1. You will just simply, or you are getting some x equals to ck, that is better, x equals to a by b, and you have been asked to find the value of x minus 1, x plus 1. How do you find this? We are just giving x minus x, here is the ratio is what? X by 1. So x minus 1 means what? This is a, x stands for a, 1 stands for b, this is a minus b, and x plus 1 is what? A plus b. So you have the ratio with yourself. That is the main thing of component of dividend method. Here you see. Now why this component of dividend method is working? What is the justification? It's working because whenever we are solving the problems of ratio and proportion, the most important thing is, even one KVPI question was there in which this simple logic solves the problem. We consider some constant k, that this ratio equals to some constant k, and then we approach the problem. This is one problem solving technique. That is, consider some constant ratio k, constant value k. Now you just see, you are getting a equals to bk, c equals to d times of k. Now a plus b, a minus b equals to b times of k plus b, bk minus b, k plus 1, k minus 1. Similarly, you are getting c plus d over c minus d equals to k plus 1, k minus 1, because c equals to dk. So this, considering a constant and then approaching the problem, is very beautiful problem solving technique. Even in the DPP or the practice problem set, you will get one such problem where you have to use this concept of considering a constant. So this is just component of dividend method, and we have shown that how this component of dividend method is working. Now let's approach further. Let's start with the problem. Suresh and Ramesh entered into a partnership by investing rupees 14,000 and rupees 18,000 respectively. Suresh withdraw his money after 4 months. If the total profit at the end is rupees 12,240, the profit of each. Please try to solve it. I will definitely provide the solution. Now let's start solving the problem. At the end means at the end of the year. What did they mean by at the end? At the end means at the end of a year. That is our common sense. The common sense applies that at the end means at the end of the year. So the profit sharing ratio will be at par with their investment. How much they invested for how much time. So the profit sharing ratio is equals to 14,000 into 4 months. Suresh 14,000, Ramesh 18,000. 18,000 into 12 months. This is equals to 4,300,000. 7:27. So they need to share the profit in this ratio 7:27. So Suresh profit will be 7 over 7 plus 27 into 12240. That is 7 over 34 into 12240 equals to 2520. So this is how we are going to approach the problems. Now you can find out, Ramesh. That's easy only. Now we are introducing the concept of work time. That is also very much related to ratio and proportion. Some are those who are in class 10. They are learning this in quadratic equation chapter, I guess. I do not know exactly in which chapter you are learning, but I guess you are learning the concept of work time in quadratic equation. I do not have the exact information. So what is the concept of work time? The concept of work time can be extended to a lot of problems, and even in KVPI, some questions are asked from this problem. Suppose there are two persons, A and B, who are supposed to do a task. A can finish the task in n days and B can finish the task in m days. So in one day, individually A can finish the task in n days, individually B can finish the task in m days. So in one day, how much of the tasks A will complete? If the total task is 1, say, then one day he is completing 100% of the tasks in n days. In n days he is completing 100%. 100% equals to 1. So in one day he is completing just 1 by n part of the tasks, and that is the concept of work time. Work time, speed, distance, lot of things are there. Now if both of them, A can finish the task in n days, A can finish the task individually in n days, B can finish the task individually in m days, in how many days they will finish the task if both of them are working? In one day A is performing 1/nth of the task. In one day A is doing 1 by nth of the task. In one day B is doing 1 by nth of the task. So how many days they require if both of them are working? Suppose they require D days, then D multiplied by their 1 day task, 1 by n plus 1 by m, would finish the task, that is 1. So this D equals to nm n plus m equals to 1, D equals to nm n plus m. So this number of days they require if both of them are working. That is the concept of work time. This is very easy concept. So let's solve a problem. A, B and C can do a piece of work in 6, 8 and 12 days respectively. B and C can work together for 2 days. B and C can work together for 2 days. Then A takes C's place. How long will it take to finish the work? Please try to solve it. The class is going to be a very short one. This is going to be a short class because there is nothing much I can do. I can give a lot of practice problems. That's what I can do. Because the entire concept is quite easy. But the problems that were asked in IOQ have proved that yes, difficult problems can be asked from this easy concept. Now let's solve the problem. A can finish it in 6 days. So in one day, A will complete in one day A will just complete 1 by 6th of the tasks, B will complete 1 by 8th of the tasks, and C will complete 1 by 12 of the tasks. B and C work together for 2 days. So how much of the task is completed in 2 days? Only this amount of task is completed. Five by 12 of the task is completed. How much task is left? 7 by 12 is left. Then A takes C's place. How long will it take to finish the work? Now B and A are working. For how many days? Suppose for n days. How much tasks they need to complete? 7 by 12. Now you just see 1 by 6, 1 by 8 equals to 7 by 12. Now you can easily find out the value of n. (24). That is 437. 7 by 12. 7 cancels. This is 2. So n equals to 2. From this we can get n equals to 2. The answer is 2. I am re-explaining it. Okay, I do not think that re-explanation is required, as you are Olympiad aspirants or KVP aspirants. So that you have to understand. At least this level of problem you have to tackle. And this is not a good level of problem. This is board level problem. Answer is 2 days. Now comes the concept of mixture, I guess. Try to solve it. This is quite easy problem. Consider 3 containers C1, C2, C3. They are having volume 4:1, 3:1, 5:2. So that would be difficult for us to compute. Suppose it's having 3V. It is having 4 times of V. It is having 5 times of V. The mixtures contains milk and water in the ratio 4:1. So how much milk it is having? Four by 5 into 3V. How much milk it is having? Sorry. 3 by 4 into 4 of V. And how much milk it is having? 5 by 7 into 5 times of V. We'd add this. We'd get the ratio of milk. We'd get the total volume of milk in terms of V. V is just a constant. I was saying you guys that whenever this kind of problems appears, we just assume a constant. So this is the constant here. Okay. That is the problem solving strategy that has been discussed very earlier. We are considering a constant and then approaching the problem. So this will give us the milk. Conversely, you can find water. Conversely, you can easily find out water and then compare the ratios, you will get the answer. I am not solving it. This is just a problem solving technique. I have shown you the technique. I have shown you the approach. Now it's your part to calculate and solve it further. Otherwise, there is no use of the class. Now this is going to be one of the last problem that we are going to discuss, and then we will go for the IOCM problems. What is happening? I carried 1000 kilogram of watermelon in summer by train. 1000 kilogram of watermelon in summer by train. In the beginning, the water content was 99%. By the time I reached the destination, the water content had dropped to 98%. The reduction in the weight of the watermelon was. Now this seems to like a easy question. In the examination hall, they would give you option of 10 kilogram, 50 kilogram, like that they will give. 20 kilogram they can give. So most of the students, without thinking a lot, would give 10 kilogram is the correct answer. It's looking like that, but it's not like that. You just find out the answer. I am saying that those who are getting 10 kilogram, this is wrong. You are carrying 1000 kilogram of watermelon in summer by train in the beginning. The water content was 99%. That means what? What is the solid content? 990 kilo is just made by the water only. That induces that 990 kilogram of water, 10 kilogram of solid mass is there. 10 kilogram of solid mass is there, and 990 kilogram is just simply water. In the beginning, water content was 99%. By the time I reach the destination, the water content has dropped to 98%. Now, let the loss in weight be x. Let the loss be x. $990 was the water content minus of x, and this was the total weight. Now this x is also subtracted from the total weight. That is where you guys are not considering the fact. This is very important. If water content is reducing, then total weight is also reducing, because mass is not a variable, mass is constant. That's why total weight is also reducing, or total mass, whatever you say, equals to 98 by 100. Now you compute the value. Calculation is now very easy. How it's easy? I am showing. 100 times 990 minus x equals to 98 times 1000 minus x, 9800 minus of 98x. Okay, 98, one more 0 is there. 0 0 0 minus 100x. I thought that I should go for a fresh page, otherwise it will be difficult for you all to understand. 990 minus x, 1000 minus x equals to 98 by 100. 990 into 100 minus 100x equals to 9800 minus 98 times of x. That would give you twice of x equals to 1000. X equals to 500. So most of you were thinking that the answer was 10 kilogram, but by the calculation, the weight in loss. But after the calculation, we have seen that loss in weight or loss in mass, not weight, it should be mass. Loss in mass is 500 kilogram. That is the beauty of KVPY questions. It seems like easy. It's easy also. The question is easy. Most of us can solve it very easily. There is nothing difficult calculation. But they are asking the question in such a way that you are bound to make silly mistakes there. They are asking it so beautifully that you will make silly mistakes there. They are assuming it that yes, students will make a mistake there, and that's why that is the beauty of KVPI questions. Now let's move to the two IOCM questions. There is a request that please pause the video and try to solve the problem, because this is very interesting problem. The difficulty level is also nice. Now I am solving it. I hope that you have paused it and tried to solve it, and you have successfully solved this also. I hope that you have successfully solved this. A group of women working together at the same rate can build a wall in 45 hours. When the work started, all the women did not start working together. They joined the work over a period of time, one by one at equal interval. Once at work, each one stayed till the work was completed. If the women worked 5 times as many hours, if the first women worked 5 times as many hours as the last women, for how many hours did the first women work? Now there is an important and interesting concept that they have involved. They have involved the concept of arithmetic progression. Can you see they have written they joined the work over a period of time one by one at equal interval. That means that they joined after some equal interval of time and they worked for equal interval of time. That means that the time they worked is in AP. So if there are n women, a group of women working together at the same rate can build a wall in 45 hours. They can build it in 45 hours. Then one woman in 1 hour performs n over 45 of the tasks. If t be the time for which the first women worked, suppose the first women worked for t time, then you can see that if it is at regular interval, that time is decreasing at regular interval. The next women work some t minus d, next women work t minus 2d, and the last women worked t by 5 of the time. That is the sequence. So this is the first term and this is the last term, and we can find the sum of an AP using the first term and last term. If we just, this is the work they are performing multiplied by the time they are working, that is the sum of their time, would give us the total work done. The sum will be n by 2 plus first term plus last term, t over t plus 5. This will be 1, and this is the equation. Those who are not understanding, for them I am re-explaining it. The entire thing is in AP because they are joining after regular interval. So the time they are performing is in AP. Interestingly, one woman is working at an hour for n by 45 tasks is completing if there are n women. So the total tasks they are doing is in AP, and n by 45 is common for all. N by 45 is common for all. This is common for all. So we are just taking it common and summing up the time for that each woman is working, so that the task, that is 100% of the task, that is 1, is completing. Now the time is in regular interval, that is the time is in AP. The first term is t and the last woman is working for t by 5 time. When we are adding this AP, we are getting n and n is cancelled out. N and n is cancelled out. We are getting here 6 by 5 of t. That is, you'd get time equals to, most probably, t is also cancelling this 6 by 5. This is 6 by 5 of t. This is 3. This is 15. So time is 75 hours. That is the concept involved here. The concept of arithmetic progression. Those who are unaware of arithmetic progression, for them, arithmetic progression in sequence and series, you will get this, though I am solving it. Suppose there are some terms 1, a plus d, a plus 2d, like that, a plus n minus 1 into t. A comma d belongs to real number. then this is a arithmetic progression, and you are supposed to find out the sum. What you will do, you will just write the digit in opposite way. A plus n minus 1 into d plus a plus n minus 2 into d up to a. Now what we'll do, we'll just add this up. We'll get twice of s. This is a plus n minus 1 into d. 2a plus n minus 1 into d, the first term. Add this and this, you will get 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Up to n times you will get, because this is n terms. So you will get n into 2a plus n minus 1 into d, or you just divide it by 2. This is the sum of an arithmetic progression. Now you see, this can be written as n by 2 into a plus n minus 1 into d. This is also correct. Now you see this a plus n minus 1 into d. Those who do not know what is an AP, a plus n minus 1 into d, and this a plus n minus 1 into d, this is the last term. This is also the last term. So we can write it as n by 2 into first term plus last term. This will give us the sum. That is the concept of arithmetic progression. I hope you all know this concept, because this is the easiest concept. Now the last question from IOChem only. This is really a difficult question. This will be a, okay, not homework. Okay, homework only. You will get the answer in internet. You will get the solution in internet. That's not a difficult thing. That's why I am giving it as a homework. Okay, I am solving this problem for you. This is really a damn easy problem. Not easy, just you need to think a little bit. A total amount of n,000 rupees is given to 3 persons A, B, C every year, each being given an amount proportional to her age. Amount is proportional to her age. In the first year, A got half the amount. When the sixth payment was made, A got 6/7 of the amount that is she had in the first year. B got 1,000 less than she had in the first year, and C got twice that she had in the first year. We have to find the value of n. When year equals to 1, that is the first year. Or let's consider that is time equals to 0. A, B and C. A gets n by 2. In the first year, A got half the total amount. While the sixth payment was made, A got 6/7 of that she had in the first year. Suppose B gets x, C gets y. So from this you can infer that x plus y equals to n by 2. When the sixth payment was made, time will be 5 years then, isn't it? Then only they will get the sixth payment. This will be 6/7 into n by 2. N is 1,000. So we can consider x minus 1. Why we are considering x minus 1? Because this is in terms of n only. That's why we are considering 1 represents 1,000. Because here also we have not written n thousands like that. That's why we are considering 1. A got the total amount. When the sixth payment was made, A got 6/7 of the total amount that she had in the first year. First year he got n by 2. And in the sixth payment was made, he got 6/7 into n by 2. B got x minus 1. And C got twice of that she had in the first year. C got twice of that she had in the first year. C got twice of y. From this you have to infer some data. that is x plus 2y minus 1 equals to 4n by 7. Am I correct? 14, 6, 8 by 14. Yes, this is correct. So from this we have to find the value of x and y in terms of n. From these two equations, find the value of x and y. This is just linear equation in terms of n. This is what? Three n by 7. Find the value of x, then x minus 1 you will get. From this equation you would get the values of n, x and y. I am just writing the values. You have to solve this equation, okay? Not think that study solving, that's why we do not need to solve. X will be three n by 7 plus 1. Sorry, minus 1. I think this will be minus 1. Minus 1. Y will be n by 14 plus 1. N by 14 plus 1. These are the values of x and y. We are getting the values of x and y. From this, find this. What does x minus 1 means? And like that. This will be 3n by 7 minus 2. 3n by 7 minus 2. And twice of y will be n by 7 plus 2. N by 7 plus 2. These are the values corresponding to this, and this. Now you get the ratio, you get the time, you have everything in your hand. Just wait a minute. Now you just see the very interesting part of the problem, that when you are subtracting n by 2 minus of 3n by 7 minus 1, you'd get the difference in age. Is it true or not? You just try to analyze this statement. Because the difference in age at t equals to 0 and t equals to 5 are equal. We are just considering that this is the ratio of the age, lambda 1 lambda 2 ratio. Okay, this is just the ratio of age. I'm just explaining it. Suppose the ratio of ages at the initial time when t was 0, a1, a2, a3. Now after 5 years the new ratio will be a1 plus 5, a2 plus 5, a3 plus 5. This will be the new ratio after 5 years. Now what will happen? This ratio is proportional. This ratio is proportional to the amount that they are getting, amount of money that they are getting. That is, this is proportional to n by 2, x is to y, and we have the values of x and y in terms of n. We have for the 5th year also, when time equals to 5, time equals to 0, we are having the ratios. So when we are subtracting, and these are proportional, and that's why we are considering some lambda 1. That is the sole reason for considering some lambda. That is the concept of considering some constant and approaching the problem. There is the logic. Try to understand the logic. Now we are having n by 2 minus of 3n by 7 minus 1 would into some lambda 1 would give us the difference. Similarly, you would get three n by 7 minus of 3n by 7 minus 2 into some lambda 2. You would get again the difference in age. Difference in age. Now compare the ratios. You will get n by 14 plus 1 by 2 equals to lambda 2 by lambda 1. Similarly, you will get another ratio, 5n by 14 2n by 7 minus 4 equals to lambda 2 by lambda 1. Compute the value of n from these equations. Equating them, you would get n equals to 35. I am not solving that part. That's your duty. What was the most important thing in this approach was this page. This is the most important thing. After this, the problem is easy. Up to this, the problem was difficult. After we are getting this part, these linear equations, the problem is very easy. You can just compare the ratios and find out the value of n. So these were some typical and good questions involving the concept of arithmetic progression in ratios, involving the concept of, there is only one concept, ratio. So these are very good problems and this was the tricky problem that often most of us will solve in a wrong way. These were some example of common problems that are appearing in board examinations. So all the concepts regarding ratio and proportion, work time, you can solve the problems of pipe and cistern using this concept of work time have been discussed. So we are over. There is one more suggestion. I do not know whether it's still available or not. If it's available, check in the description. I'm not sure that whether it's available or not. It was supposed to be available, that's why I'm saying that. Check the description. If it is available or not, check it. For what? For the link of our app. I do not know whether the app has been released or not. I'm not quite sure about this. It was supposed to be released. In the app you will get notes and all the DPPs that we are seeing that solve the assignment. What is the assignment? The DPP you will get in the app. And all the videos also. Videos, I do not know the tests are available or not, but tests are also supposed to be available. So download the app if it's available or not. I do not know. I'm not sure that whether it's available or not. Thank you.